Hello everyone, I'm Seth with SethPerler.com. I'm here today to talk to you about guru syndrome. You do not want to get guru syndrome. It's very dangerous. I'm going to tell you what guru syndrome is and how to avoid it. Basically what guru syndrome is something that I see a lot of parents and a lot of kids fall into. And that is this belief that they've been told by some guru, by some expert, by some professional, by some authority that there is a way to do something and that's the way and that your kid has to do it this way. Well, if you're the student, I don't care if you're middle school, high school, or college, or a parent or a teacher, I want you to really beware of the guru syndrome. Now, sometimes a guru or an authority will tell you something that works perfectly for you. And I say, if that happens, great, use it. Now we see this, I'll get back to this, but we see this guru syndrome in all types of areas. If you look in the fitness industry, you'll see it, in the productivity industry, in technology. There are all types, photography, whatever. There are all types of areas where you will see somebody who says, I have a system, use my system and everything will be okay. And for a lot of people, the system may work. But for the kids that I work with, which is probably similar to you, who tend to have issues with what's called executive function, and they struggle in school with organization, time management, priorities, getting things turned in on time, all those types of things. These systems often don't work. So I want you to be cautious whenever some guru tells you this is the way, even if it's a teacher saying this is the way you need to use a planner, or even if it's an administrator, or if you're working with a coach, an education coach type person, and they're saying this is the way you have to use your notebooks. Like, if it's not working for you, it's not working for you. So the rule is that you have to have systems that are reliable and that work for you. If your system is not working for you, for your learning style, for your thinking style, for your brain, and if it's not reliable, then it's breaking the rule, and it doesn't matter. I don't care what they told you. Now, obviously, there's your part. You have to apply the system and try it. But what I do with my clients is I help them find systems that work for their brain. I don't tell any of my students, this is the way, this is how we're going to do it, this is the only way. I tell them whatever way works for you, that's fine. Let's find the way that works for you. So I want you to have a way that works for you, that's reliable, and that can work for you for years and years to come, and that you can refine. So, but there is the status quo. There are these old beliefs held by different systems about how things should work, and they will often tell you how you need to do things, but these things often don't work for you. So I'm going to mention two of them right here. One is the classic 3-ring binder, okay? So a lot of middle schools and high schools will do binder checks, and they force students to use 3-ring binders, even though kids with executive function issues do not do well with 3-ring binders. 90 to 95% of my kids do not do well with 3-ring binders because it's way too many details, way too many steps to manage pieces of paper that are often meaningless. So the system expects these kids to track loads of busy work paper that will never be used again, and they'll actually grade them on it and tell them you need to use this. And then it's implied, well, hey, organized people use 3-ring binders and love them, and that is true. For our organized kids, they feel good with 3-ring binders, and it helps them stay organized, and it gives them a sense of control. So for those kids, I think they're awesome. For these kids, I think it's a horrible system. But the system, I don't understand how this came to be, but somehow these kids, the system keeps pushing this 3-ring binder stuff. Next, the planners. Schools will often give students planners. So the schools will buy hundreds of these planners that are a week at a time, with a month in the front, with the student handbook in it, with a periodic table, multiplication tables, and commonly misspelled words, and all this junk in the back of it. And they're so thick, and it's all students with executive function struggles need is a planner that is just a planner to plan. That's it. And I usually get them monthly ones with just 10 pages and teach them how to plan, not all this clutter. So those are two things that are, these are just examples of like some of the systems that can really throw people off. I'm gonna talk about two more things right now. One is that you do need a reliable system for planning, for managing the tasks that you have to do, for the homework and the studying, and many of my students really don't know how to actually study and will rush through the homework if doing the homework at all. So you do need a reliable system to track your score. That is in fact true, okay? So you do need a reliable system, but it doesn't have to be some system that some guru says, this is the way that we plan. You need to find a system for you. I have one student right now that's using Google Keep, which doesn't have any dates on it, but he's using it successfully to track and manage his schoolwork. So I'm totally fine with that. I don't care. I have some kids that use online planners like Google Calendar or iCal. I don't care which one they use as long as it's working. Some of my students use paper planners. I don't care as long as it works. So you need to find a system that works for you. You do need a planning system. Now you also do need an organizational system for the massive amounts of papers that teachers pass out. For some reason, even though it's 2015, teachers still feel the need to pass out loads and loads and loads and loads of photocopied papers and things for you. Now there's a time and place for it. I'm not saying it's all bad, but a lot of it, I mean, I see a lot of it with my students is pretty meaningless, honestly. However, you have to have a reliable system for organizing the papers that do matter in your educational career. Okay? So you have to have these reliable systems. So the guru syndrome, again, will say, here's an organizational system, use mine. This is the one that works. No, develop one that works for you. Listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, and ask yourself which one will work for you. Now, there are many other systems. I'll go over that in another video. And actually, I have another article from way back that talks about all the different systems that you need to be managing in your life. And it brings it all into one simple article so that you can grasp that. But basically, don't just listen to somebody say, this is the way. If it doesn't feel right to you, listen to your gut and don't go with it. Make something up that works for you. Finally, if this was helpful to you, if you enjoyed this, if this gave you some good ideas, go ahead and share it with somebody. I don't care what you do. Share it on Facebook, email it to someone you like, but I'd appreciate it if you share my work. And I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you soon. Take care.